Hello guys, and welcome to part 4 of my Ninja Run tutorial, where we're building a 2D platformer where we play with this ninja girl and we basically jump around the pipes and fall down towards our doom. Well, we don't have any doom right now, but that's alright. What we did last time is we did a little bit more animations thing. We included this gliding animation, and we also added those pipes, but as you notice, the pipes end here, and that's rather inconvenient, right? I mean, I could of course use my tile map and create some more and do what I want to do. That was not what I wanted to do, but never mind. But this is kind of troublesome process, right? I mean, I could do that and I'll have some sort of level, but this thing is an endless runner. This is like annoying me. I need to figure this out at one point, but maybe not now. So this is an endless runner, and what we want to do is basically when we move forward, we would like to have pipes on our side, and we will do the basic version of that. Right now it will be just horizontal pipe set. So I have prepared for you this amazing visualization. Like we will have 3 different. In order for us to do that, we need to separate our pipes into 3 different batches. Like the gray one will be the previous batch, the blue one will be the current batch, and the red one will be basically the next batch, right? And when we move forward, we need to make sure that this becomes the gray one. This gets basically deleted or freed, right? Because we don't want to waste resources. This is like the blue one, and those things are the red ones. So this is what we need to do, and in the other direction the same. Let's move a little bit back. Basically we have our position and also the Y position. Like this is the cell Y position because we need to specify the cell size and the cell position for our pipes. And as you already know, the tile maps is working by setting the tile that you want to place in a certain location by a grid, right? And the grid is the size basically of the pipe or the tile. So if you have 32 by 32, each cell will be 32. And if you want to have like, if this is like our global 0, and then want to have something at position 64 by 64, we basically have like 1, 2, and then 1, 2, like in the Y direction and in the X direction. And this point right here in the top left corner will be 64 by 64, and this will be basically the location we want to add this. Maybe that's a little bit too abstract, but who cares? Let's just do it, right? In order for us to do that, we will basically first we probably need to get rid of that. I mean, you could also place those pipes inside a custom level that you design and then drag in the scene. That would be also an option. Let me just show you quickly how to do that. Like you can create like, make sure it's no 2D because maybe you want to move it around, right? And the node 2D will be like static map. And then basically here you add the tile map that we were using, and or maybe just call it static level. And then by going to the tile map, we can select the tile set and drag and drop it here inside the tile set on the right side of the inspector. And then we can just do, oh yeah, we need to change the cell size to 32 by 32. Zoom in a little bit. Not really. Yeah, and then basically you can create a level, right? And then you just save this level. Let's say you go to our world, or maybe we can create levels, levels folder, and save it as static level. And then here in the tile map, I will just delete everything I have. We have created that with such pain, but still. Needs to gone. It needs to be gone, guys. Sorry. This is life. Anyhow, so we will now go to our levels, and I can just drag and drop my level here. And I can also position it if I want to with the W key or just moving it around. Just enable grid snap here. And then basically that's it. I will have this static level. So if you prefer static levels and not to go with the dynamic level, this is the way to do it. But we will create now a dynamic level. So we'll create a new scene. And we will still use Node2D. And we'll call it maybe simple dynamic level. Because we will probably then create another one or maybe copy it and make it a little bit harder and yeah, more complex. So what we need here is basically we need a tile map, right? And the tile map still needs to have this tile set. And you notice that I did basically name the tiles in certain manner because there is a way for you to actually load this tile, right? Let me first fix this, the cell size, and add a script. We're going to add a script to the simple dynamic level. Just click create, and we will make sure we have a constant here, like cell width. This is 32 pixels and constant cell height. Just in case you have some unorthodox cell sizes, like mine are like square, but if not, you can have both. And you can just save it under simple dynamic level, right? So what we need to do is, let me just first try to show you how you can add a certain pipe, right? In order for us to do this, we will need to have this tile map accessible to us. So we need onReady var, and then this will be equal to the tile map, right? And then in our tile map, we can check the function, the methods there. So let me go to just the tile map and see what we have. Like we have the set, the cell size, and what we need is basically we need to do something maybe with the tile set, right? There is the tile set, and for the tile set we can just click on the tile set, and there is a function called find tile by name, right? And this is why we have named our tiles. It returns the first matching the given name. So you can actually have multiple tiles having the same name or whatnot. And then this will return the first one. This is the index, the integer index of this tile. And what we can do with that is, let me just copy this function. What we can do with that is just try to add a certain tile. Let me just try it. So tile map, then tile set, and then find tile by name, right? And let me click here on our, this is horizontal underscore both, because it has pipe endings on both sides. So we'll just look for horizontal underscore both, right? And let me just print the index of this first to see if we even have something. So I'm going to delete my static level. This means that my player right now will just endlessly fall. Did I not save my dynamic level? Huh? I thought I created a script here. Where is the script located? Oh no, it's under here. Anyhow, I'm just gonna move the script to the scene because it's otherwise very, very confusing for me and probably for you. Okay, so now I will try to play the game and it says 0. That's not actually what I expected, right? Or is it? Let me just see. Let me just try to add some tiles by using a random or just the tile 0. So in order for me to do that, I can do tile map, set cell, This is a function that allows you to set basically a certain x and y position. The x position will be like 0, and the y position will be 10 times cell height, right? I want to be maybe a little bit under the player or right about there. And the third thing, it has like x and also the tile. The tile is the integer index of the tile that we are setting. And if I use -1, it will clear it. So if we will use the -1 later on to clear the tiles. But let me just try to set several tiles manually, right? And I'm gonna go with one times width, then 2 times width. And I will just add 3 different tiles to see what they are right now. So nothing really did happen. Why is it not happening? But probably I did not position it correctly and it's out of, yep. This is the simple dynamic level. It needs to be positioned on top of the player right now, because otherwise our X position is outside of the camera and we don't see it. So let me try that. This still doesn't work. If I position it here. This is very, very interesting. Actually, it's not very interesting. It's kind of obvious. And I already spoke about it, but somehow I still messed it up. So that's yay for me. You can read this in the documentation of setCell. There it says, sets the tile index for the cell given by a vector 2. So remember in our example before, I was talking that those are different cells, like this is cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, cell 4. And the actual position is defined by the cells. And so if I want to have like 10 y and basically 1 x, this will be like 10. This will be the 10th cell. This will be 1. So the first cell, like 0 is here and this is 1. So this will be 1 and 10. So I just need to make sure this works, but it's not working. It's not visible because it's somewhere out of scope of the camera. Like I'm setting some stuff to some cells that are not visible. So I can do this. And now we actually see this. I actually added this just to make sure I'm not falling down. Turns out that this truly is index 0. So our function was actually working, right? So this was working. So if I want to, for instance, add just 10 tiles, right? I can do a for loop and I can do like I in range 0 to 10. And then I'll just add this, right? And I can use, I can either copy this and use it like that, or I can simply create a function. I will create a function, but right now let me just test this quickly. What does it say? Expected end of statement after expression. I have one too many of those brackets. So yeah, this is just adding 10 times. Of course, this is just adding 10 times this horizontal pipe to the 0th position, right? So I need to add the I here. And there we go. We actually can see that there are like 10 different segments, right? So what I want to do is I want to define a variable called batch size. And the batch size will be, let's say, something small first, because the batch size, I would like to see if it works and try it out. So the batch size would be 4. And this is how many pipes each batch will have, right? And I would like to define 3 different batches. Previous batch, current batch, and the next batch. Those would be basically kind of a dictionary that do contain the things I need to clear, because I want to clear the garbage, right? I want to clear the garbage that I create so that the game does not lag. but maybe I will add that at a later point. For now, I'm just interested in creating the batches, right? I'm interested in making sure that I can run in either direction, left or right, infinitely. So what I need to do is I need to somehow get the player position, right? I need to make sure I have the position of the player, because this is what determines when to create a new batch, because otherwise I'm blind. So for this, I'm gonna actually use a signal inside the player, and the signal will be player location, right? Player location. And then I will, on physics process, I will just update the player location. So I can just emit a signal, right? I can make sure that at the end of the physics process, I emit a signal. It's you can emit a signal with the emit signal keyword. And signals are basically a way of communicating between the different key elements of your game. So in this case, I will be just emitting a signal, a player location. And I actually want to submit the X and Y coordinates to of the player inside this signal, so that my other script knows where exactly the player is right now. And if you go to the emit signal documentation, you see that there is even an example here with the hit and the weapon type and damage. So we just need to comma separate the arguments we would like to pass in here. So basically this is the global position .x and global position .y, right, for my player. Because right now I am inside the kinematic body 2D of the player. I clicked on the player script and I'm emitting this signal from the player script, and I am passing along the player X and the player Y position to the signal. So I need now to connect my simple dynamic level to this signal, right? So I will go to my world scene, open it. I have placed already my simple dynamic level by drag and drop under the player, and I can click on the player, go to node, and there is this player location signal. If I double click with the left mouse button, I can actually connect it, and I will connect it to the simple dynamic level, and just it will have a name, and I'll just click connect, right? And here I can already print the X and Y of the player, right? Player X and player Y. Unfortunately, it does not know what kind of parameters I'm passing into the signal, so I need to type them in manually, but I know that I'm passing both, so I will just use them, right? And hope for the best, as usual. Player X, let me print it, string concatenation with the str keyword as usual. Not sure if I mentioned that, but this is how you concatenate strings in Godot or GD script. So let me just now play. And if I move, you see that this thing is updating, right? And there is some overflow. Let me see, output overflow, print less text. Yeah. Basically, I'm printing way too many stuff, and it says it's overflowing, and some of the things are cut out from the printing. But I don't care about that one bit, because this is exactly what I wanted, right? So let me now make sure I can generate the batch, right? So I'm just gonna create a function, generate batch, and this function will receive just the X position of the batch and then the batch size, right? So this will be start X, and then I will have the batch size or end X, right? I can also use end X. And then I will also need the start Y. The Y position is, right now we're not changing the Y position in any way, so we're just starting there, and that's it. So let me just copy this. I wanted to move this to a function, so let me just quickly do that. Like I can do like function add pipe and pipe name, and this will be basically pipe name, right? Or do I want to do it like that? Maybe get pipe. Then get pipe and then horizontal both, right? I'll start at the start x for my for loop, right? And I'll end at the end x. And for the y, I will be just using the start y. So right now, I can actually already use that and say like, okay, I would like to generate from 0 to 5, like, and at position like 10. Then I would like to generate from, let's say 6 to 10 at position 11, right? And this should already generate a little bit of pipes. Unless I mess things up. No, this is the A, this is the start. And of course, my amazing function getPipe does not have a return statement. You're probably wondering how could that be, but it was. Anyhow, and you notice something else, right? There is a gap here. So this thing is exclusive, right? This is inclusive and this is exclusive. So if I actually want to generate from 5, I need to use 5 for both, because this is actually generating till 4 and this is starting from 5, right? And this is also generating like 5 pieces. This is generating 4 pieces because I just changed it. I need to actually do this in order for me to have 5 pieces on both sides. Okay, so but how does that actually help us in generating our batch, right? So let me first make sure that we clean up our batches, right? So I will just add a function that says like clean batch. And this will get the batch I want to clean, and I will just go from start of the batch to the end of the batch, and using a for loop. And then this will be like batch size. Basically, this is from 0 to till the batch size, or I can just short write it like that. And then I will get the value of the batch I, and then I'll map that cell, and then I'll use value x, value y, and set it to -1, because if you notice that -1 is used to clear the cells. And you're probably wondering, what is this batch, right? I need to create basically an array that has different dictionaries, and each dictionary has like the x position and the y position for each of the tiles, so that I can actually x1, x1, and then basically y1, so that I can like clear them properly. So those batches that we defined as variables will be those dictionaries, right? And dictionary is just this part. Basically, it's a map between a key and a value, and you have different names of the keys. You can put any name you want, and then you can have any value you want basically in the keys, because it's not typed. And I would just have an array. An array is just multiple of those dictionaries in one place, and I can access them with their number. Like this dictionary is dictionary 0 at position 0, and this dictionary is dictionary at position 1. So this is what I'm gonna do. But in that case, the generate batch needs to actually return those dictionaries, right? So I would just say like, okay, my current batch is equal to the result of the generate batch. My next batch is equal to the result of the next generate batch. So I need to make sure that I return the batch here. And if you're wondering actually about more about dictionary and arrays, you can just go to the docs.godotengine.org, and you can read about an array and dictionary. There are examples here, like for instance, this is an empty dictionary, how to create a dictionary, and how to initialize different keys and values there. And what we need actually is right now also a way to append or add new data to the array. And this is just creating an array with 2 elements. We just need something to append the data, and it happens to be just the append method, right? So appends an element at the end of the array or push back. So this is perfect for us. So we're just gonna create the batch array. And if you go back here, you can also see like how to initialize an array with those square brackets. So we're just gonna initialize the batch array with the square brackets, and we will then append something, right? I would like to append the dictionary of this thing. So I don't have anything to append right now. I can just append it manually and say this is x is I and y is basically start y. But it's much more convenient to just do it in one go. So I'm just gonna go and ahead and create a function add pipe, and this function will just receive the x, the y, and the pipe ID, and it will return basically. Just copy this. So this is the just x, this is the y. This is the pipe ID. Right now I'm just using horizontal both, so pipe ID. I don't need to actually call it here. I need to call it in the upper layer. And then I'll just return this, right? X is x, y is y. And there we go. That's it. So I can just append right now the add pipe and say the x is in my for loop is the I. I can even like call it x. I don't even mind calling it x. And then start y, because we're never changing the y in our case. And I will for the pipe ID, I'm just using the horizontal bolt, right? So what does it say? Expected. Okay. Yes. This is basically equals like x is equals x and y is equals y. All right. So now, right now, we can also make sure we start with variables here, right? We have like we can have like a variable current x, and the current x will be at first 0, right? 0 is all right. So the current batch will be starting from current x, and we'll be going to current x plus batch size. In our case, it's 4. Let me just go ahead and copy this directly under the batch size so it's connected. Then the next batch size will be current x plus batch size. You know that we have to have an overlap because this is exclusive and this is inclusive. And then I'll just go ahead and add like 2 times batch size. In our case, this is exactly what we needed to do. And let me just, in the y will be like current y. I'll just go ahead and call it 10. And I'll use current y in both places. So let me just try it out. Yes, I do have like 8 different tiles. And I also need a previous batch, right? So just copy the current batch and rename it to previous. And can you guess the location, right? So we need to end at the start point of the next batch. So this will be the end position for our previous batch. This will be on the left side, right? And it will just be exactly a batch size. So the batch size will be the length. So we have like right now 4 on the left side, 4 in the middle, and 4 on the right side. And what we need to do right now is go ahead and connect this, right? So let me go ahead and print the current cell position for the player, right? Current cell position. Because we don't actually know, this is the X, and the X you see is in pixels, and we need it to be in the cells, right? We need to know which cell exactly the player is right now in. And this we can achieve with just dividing the current X position by the cell width, like position player X divided by cell width. But this will be an even division, and we have like 0 point blah blah blah, like the thing after the dot. And we don't care about that, so that we're going to use the floor function, which is just getting rid of the excess. So it's if it's 1.2 to blah blah blah, it will be just 1.0. And if it's 2 point something or even 2.9, it will be just 2. And this is what we want. You can read the documentation here, and it's exactly what we need right now. So we need to then check if our current cell position of the player is greater than the batch position, right? So if current cell position is greater than current X, right? Or current batch start, right? We don't know. Actually, this is the current batch start, right? Greater than the current X plus batch size. So we are now stepping on top of the next batch, right? This is where we want to be. And in that case, we'll say like current X is equal current X plus batch size. So when we are stepping on the next batch, we want to move our current, like the one in the middle, to become basically the previous batch, and the next one we need to be the current batch. And maybe a little bit confusing, but what we're just doing here is we're moving one batch to the right? Our current was so this is what we described in the beginning, right? When we move here, this was the current position, and then this will become our current position, this will be the previous, and this will be those two will be the next. This is what we're doing here. And we need to also adjust the batches, right? We need to our previous batch will become our current batch, because the current batch is already outdated, so we're moving them one by one, right? Our current batch will become our next batch, and then we need to generate a new next batch, right? Next batch is equals to basically generate batch, and the generate batch will be the same as here. Actually, I can even copy this. So this will generate the, what is it saying? Current y. All right, we don't have a current y, so I'm just gonna make it like 10. So why not? And I'm just extracting the current y from the ready function to as a variable that I can use inside the script as a global variable, basically. And this means that if this works, we can run to the right endlessly, right? And it seems to work. I can maybe make the batch size a little bit smaller so that we can see how it's generated, right? No? Why don't we see that? Should actually see that. There is a thing I'm actually missing. What am I missing? Yeah, I think I know what I'm missing, and probably our current cell position is not basically 0 as we expect, right? So if I just print the current cell position, and then it should be something larger than 0, right? Yeah, it's 16, and we can just fix that very easily. We go to our world, and we make sure our player is positioned at the 0, right? We can even make it on the top, and we make sure our dynamic level is in the same location as our player. And right now we should be able to see how this thing is generated, right? And we can see that this generation works. Doesn't work in the other direction, but there is no time right now, guys. I'm sorry this thing became a little bit longer than I expected. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. In the next episode, we'll finish this and probably expand it to make sure we have a little bit height diversity as well and not only use the horizontal things. So stay safe, guys. Stay awesome as I know you are. And if you did like it, please give me your thumbs up. That helps me a lot and helps me generate new content. So thank you. Stay awesome. And yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.